Hello and welcome to another episode of Wild at Heart, Real Authentic Uncut. This is a show on ROLAND Media, for men, by men, about men. I'm Roland. I'm your host here. And today I have the honor and the pleasure to interview a very good friend of mine. We met, I guess, about 10 years ago in an ashram in the Caribbean. I was there to do a yoga teacher training and deepen my yoga practice that I started in the 90s. And he was there for Karma Yoga, and we became friends. And yeah, since then we're in contact. We have many calls together. He visited me on the island where I've been living before. I met him last winter in Portugal. And today we're going to talk about if I had known this before 30. And we're looking forward to this because John, he's in 70s. I mean, he looks much younger. You will see him soon, but he has a lot of experience. He made an amazing progress, an amazing spiritual journey in his life from the entertainment, the glamour world to a more spiritual way. And we also will talk about the challenges faced. Actually, the last 2 months was very, very challenging for him. So stay tuned. He will join us soon, and then we talk about it. And before that, don't forget to press the subscribe button and also the belly, the clock, so you always get informed when there's a new episode online. See you.
I was so terrified. And I was so scared. My mouth completely dried. My lips got stuck up there. My nerves were twitching. I was shaking like crazy. But to this day, again, I would say, by the grace of the intelligent universe, that aspect of my own nature came through and took over. And I managed to sing and I managed to make a joke and do an impression. And the next thing I knew, I was an assistant entertainment manager. And that meant I had to face every fear I had learned to believe in front of hundreds of people. And many times I died a million deaths.
I can imagine.
Right, a million deaths. And we say in show business, in those moments you wish there was a hole that would open in the ground and swallow you in front of hundreds of people. So, my father would say to me, like, how do you do that, son? And I say, Dad, I don't know. I honestly don't know. You watch me get sick in the dressing room. All day long, I'm psyching myself up for this hour a night to feel alive and to be in love with doing something. And I say, you watch me get sick, and he said, oh, I couldn't do what you're doing. I said, Dad, I don't know how I keep doing it. Part of me wants to run away every time, but something in me keeps making me get up there. I had no idea what that was. So I went through that process. My father, unfortunately, never passed those tests of self-confidence and self-expression, and sadly passed away with throat cancer, which is the center of self-expression. So like I'm saying, the whole, everything happening is this mirror of what's going on a spiritual level. So through my career of gaining my self-esteem back as a performer, I swung to the imbalanced ego. Look at me, I'm the star. Hey, I'm a star now. Hey, look, people should do what I think they should do, otherwise I get all egotistically upset and spit the dummy and and really egotistical stuff. So I had to learn all of those hard lessons to humility, consideration, patience, understanding. So the business taught me that, and then years later, I encountered the same lady from the china shop again. And she said to me, do you remember I told you to come and sit in my group with me in meditation? And I went, no. She said, well, tonight's the night. And I went, oh, I don't know what that's about, but okay. Out of politeness to a friend, I went along and I sat down in this group of elderly people. And I was thinking, oh, God, I could be down the pub. What am I doing? Anyway, and I had this experience that we commonly refer to now as an out-of-body experience. The yogis call it a Kundalini experience, or an opening of the pineal gland and a raising of the Kundalini. And so I found myself in and out of my body at the same time, and connected to that universal intelligence that I was shown. This is who you really are. And I found on this personality level, my little mind was going, how can I forget that? I knew that as a child. Like, how did I forget that? How are we forgetting who we really are in this thought? So again, I'm cutting this story short. But that set me on a path of, it completely transformed me from when I walked into that room, I was still John the Entertainer with the blinkers. And those blinkers were, if I can get the next hit record, I'll be happy. If I can get more adoration from more audiences, if I can only get the next producer to tell me I'm a great performer and all that kind of stuff. And yet, having learned already, that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
You know, I'd already been coming off the stage and sitting in the dressing room and going, well, that was great. You know, I've just had this amazing experience for like 5,000 people at Wembley Stadium. And now I'm sitting in the dressing room going, well, what now? I'm on my own. You know, I was connected to 5,000, now sitting in the dressing room all on my own again. And what am I left with? Me. What do I think of me at that point? Well, I'm only as good as my talents and abilities, rather than what the spiritual experience awakened me to. I'm as good as that intelligence that breathes into me and gives me life. So from that moment forward, I literally put out a prayer. I have to meet somebody in a body that can help me to understand this mystical experience that I have no intellectual ability to understand at this point, even though it was my experience. And then I attracted my first spiritual mentor, a man called Paul Solomon, who was, to this day, the most profound speaker I've ever heard, with incredible knowledge of life's journey. And he was teaching of what I trained to teach, a program called Inner Light Consciousness. It was all about personal responsibility. So, and I spent 17 years around Paul, where I followed him all around the world. I would go back to show business to earn money, to go and follow him and study with him, and eventually became a trainer. And then I just knew my life is not just about being the entertainer any longer. It's about being this integrated person, taking responsibility and helping others to understand how we are causing consciousness to function in this body, and how, as Paul would so beautifully say, it is you are your own mystery school. So you are the student and you're the teacher all in the same breath.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? And if you know how to sit with yourself properly, you're constantly in that process of self-learning. So you need to develop those skills.
John, I have a question. When you, well, I understood is when you had this career as a performer, as an entertainer, you said, you kind of healed your non-existing self-esteem and fear, but it went too far to the other side, so it boosted your ego.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is when you boost your ego, you feel more comfortable on stage. You're successful, but on the other hand, you feel so lonesome in your wardrobe. Why is this? Why happens to so many people? What's going wrong on this stage?
It's a great question. You see, these are the mysteries of our soul journey that we now must help each other to understand. It's the hidden teachings of the Christian teachings and all religions. It's the mystery side of the teachings, not just the story. And that it's well documented in a lot of different, especially in the Eastern model. There's just energy, and we are constantly riding this energy flow. When we are at truth and at peace with ourselves, we're sitting in our energy. When the mind, the heart, the will, the passions, the body are all one. and they're all serving that one intuitive, spontaneous intelligence. So you don't even have to think about what you're going to do. You just know, and you spontaneously do it, right? So in Eastern, that's often referred to as the Tao, being in the Tao. Then there's the yin and the yang, right? Or the plus and the minus, or the good me and the bad me, the the good Roland, the Roland that's tempted to be good, and the Roland that's tempted to be negative and bad. But neither of those are really Roland.
Yeah.
But they are Roland learning who Roland really is.
We're rolling.
Right? So we have to. That's what I've learned from the experience. So I was shown who I really am, and then to refine this ego and bring in the qualities of the soul into this physical body life, I had to experience swinging into more ego.
Yeah. But John, right? It doesn't matter how good we are, that we always are a badass in someone's eyes?
Well, we are, this is interesting, another thing. We're only in the eyes of another what's in their eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Which is what they project onto you.
Yeah.
Unless this eye is open in them.
Yeah.
Which is the case of some of the masters I've met. And they just look straight at you. They see through the personality that most of us are swinging with.
Yeah.
You know, today I feel good, tomorrow I feel bad. I just said something I knew I shouldn't have said. I just made myself feel the way I know I don't want to feel. And I know I just did that, but I do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a person.
Sorry. I have a question. When you started your spiritual journey, you said you traveled with your teacher, with your guru, with your teacher, and on the other hand, you continued working in entertainment industry to pay the bills, of course. What happened there in the entertainment industry for you? Was there any difference? Did you say it helped me in the entertainment world to perform, or did you say, oh no, I have to get out of here in the long term?
Great question. It's a refinement process of your character in mind, body, and spirit. That's what I've seen. That's what life is doing to us. The intelligence of life is allowing this little personality to create its own fantasy journey through which it's learning to be true to itself by recognizing when it isn't true to itself. Which is why the Bible says, to yourself be true and the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
Right? And many other sources. So as I've been learning more and more, I'm still in that process, you know, I'm not saying I'm there by any means, but I understand now what's going on. So I say it like this, I now consider myself to be a conscious, becoming more conscious student of my own learning process. So through the show business, I've learned to realize I can't just be this ego, you know, because I only feel uncomfortable about me. You know, I get this sense, you know, people would either like it or they would reject me, and I'd be hurt on an ego level because they rejected me, right? So I've had to learn humility. I've had to learn compassion. I've had to learn endless patience and understanding in order to know myself better and better, in the sense of knowing my own true worth. And where I've been taught to sell myself down the line in self-judgment and self-criticism and telling myself and compounding the belief I'm not enough.
Yeah.
You know, when we are enough. So I was just having a conversation this morning with a young lady that's the most beautiful daughter. And she was saying how the education system is being so hard on the children here in Portugal. Same stuff, you know, just different in different countries. But how she's watching her child, this beautiful, soft, sensitive child, hardening, you know, and now losing that integrity within herself. The humility, the compassion, the patience, all the qualities of the soul.
John, One more question to the showbiz.
Yeah,
When you become more and more conscious,
yeah,
is it possible to survive in the entertainment industry, the show business, with more consciousness, or is the only consequence getting out of the circus?
yeah. No, I thought I had to get out of the circle to be spiritual. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Life never wastes anything. So when I first met Paul, I thought, oh, to be spiritual, I've got to give up the world and show business and just be like with the guru.
Yeah.
Yes, I needed to do that because there were qualities that he brought out in me or
Hmm.
pointed out in me to bring out in myself. So that it was essential. But what I've had to learn is we're in the world,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
right? I've got to be in the world. The question is, who are we in the world? What
Absolutely.
quality, keeping it simple, what quality of energy do I choose to be in this body, in this world, and especially in this time?
Yeah. So when I
Right?
understand you correctly, John, your advice is when you want to develop your spiritual journey, it's about making a break from the material, but just a break, a pause, and work on you, but not living the world, because you're part of it, and then integrate it.
Absolutely. It's just values. This is the most important thing I've had to learn. My value system used to be like most people: money, fame, fortune equals happiness, right? And relationship.
Mm.
So they were my false values that I thought were the real values to have to survive in this world. So I've had to go through all the knocks of realizing, wait a minute, what is real value? Real value is love for self, love for life, love for others, um, feeling good in your own body because you like your own thinking, even if you just screwed up. You like yourself enough to correct that lesson and learn it quickly and move on. So you like your own emotional choices, you like your own behavior. Um, and so you're, to the best of your ability, you're sitting with an awareness of peace within yourself, and yet you still walk in the marketplace and get tested and challenged, but you develop this skill where you know you're the eye in the middle of the hurricane,
Hmm.
right? And you know that whatever comes to you, like I've just been through a real big test in my life, you know that whatever comes to you, there is a greater intelligence that is behind that test. And it knows better than you why you need to go through that test and why you brought it upon yourself, and where you've forgotten to stay in tune with that intelligence
Hmm.
in a real way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sean, when we come slowly to an end, I have two more questions. One question is, what advice can you give to a young man starting his career, very excited, very motivated, so he's not going to lose himself?
Yeah. Well, listen, that means you have to be true to who self really is. And that is, in our culture, it's a challenge to understand that because everybody teaches you to think you're just your ego, your thoughts, your body. That's just the result, this tiny tip of the iceberg. You are the breath of life, which is supreme intelligence. It's been proven to us again and again by those that understand and that achieved it. So I say to the young, as the indigenous people have said to me from different cultures around the world, trust the mind within nature.
Yeah.
Trust, trust your intuition, gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. Trust that. How do you do that? You have to know how to breathe properly so that you're sitting in your center, not just up in your head. So the mind has to be trained to be bodily, emotionally, breath aware, and the body has to be trained to be the same instrument. So in scripture it says the two must become one. The ego must become one with its source.
Yeah.
So the Buddhists say it like this: there's only one enemy, guess who it is? There's only one battle, guess who it is? So when you stop the battle, then we find peace immediately because there's only one energy, and that energy actually is the source of inner peace, inner self-love, self-respect, and life itself, the very source of life. So as I say to the young people that I work with, you know, develop the awareness of testing every thought, every belief against your own heart. And don't just buy into it because others have and they tell you to.
Thank you, John. Very good advice. And another question, John, what advice are you giving to men in their end 30s, 40s, 50s who said, oh shit, I should have heard this from John 20, 30 years before. I'm in a one direction road. I see the end coming. Fuck, what the fuck shall I do? What advice are you giving to men on this?
I'll say it like this. Thank God it's never too late. Never too late. I mean, look at me, you know. It's never too late because the source of our intelligence is holding us in that ocean. You know, so what quickens the awakening is the day we realize, oh my God, I'm responsible. And I'm responsible. My own body's been telling me all my life, don't do this to me. I just haven't been listening. Maybe because nobody ever taught me. So now, at this point, whatever age I'm at, now's the time to start. So now I must decide for myself, what is the most important values to me in my life? What is my intention and purpose for the rest of this life, however long I might have in this body? What does my heart yearn to do? Because that's the calling. And that is to, as I give the children the most simplest lesson, breathe, relax, and enjoy. I say, why are we here? Because we want to breathe, we want to relax, and we simply want to enjoy being alive.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. And John, finally, you know, I know that a few weeks ago you called me and I said, Roland, something happened. I fucking lost all my money, a big fraud. We're not going to do much in detail on that, but yeah. You lost everything in a moment, and really, you know, I know you're in your 70s and you look much younger, but everything was gone. All the material stuff was gone by a fraud. Can you explain your audience a little bit? Because right now I know that this happens to many, many people.
Yeah.
If they're unfold or not unfold, doesn't matter. But can you describe a little bit which stages you went through in your mind? What happened? What you're learning out of that?
Listen, I went to feeling like I've been knocked back 100 years. It was such a blast in my solar plexus. I couldn't breathe. Like, I'm doing breathing practices every morning. I didn't want to breathe because I didn't want to feel what had just happened to me. Because old patterns that I thought I'd done with ages ago, self-judgment, you stupid idiot, what a fool, how could you have done this to yourself? So I'm hearing all these voices coming flooding back into my head, making me feel even worse. And then I know now, John, now is the time to practice everything you've learned, because you're really being tested to the nth degree, mind, body, and spirit. Not just a nice little service test, but this is a biggie. Like, you know, I feel like I've just lost the security financially for my whole future at my age. Right? So you can imagine everything I went through. What am I going to do now? Like, at this age, how am I going to survive? What am I going to do? But all the time, my inner voice is going, hey, don't forget me. You know, I'm here. I'm supporting you. I'm really the mystery behind this lesson. And it's only happening because there's things I still want you to learn about yourself, where you went unconscious. You know, you didn't really trust your gut feeling. And I think I spent a year getting stuck into a relationship that I so wanted to believe in. And I saw that my desire to so want to believe in humanity's goodness and integrity, my naivety, sucked me in. And from my naivety, I brought upon myself this very deep and profound lesson of letting go. So at first, voices in my head were going, I don't want to be in this world any longer. Is this really what it's like? Who wants to be in it? I don't want to. Forget spirit, everything else. I just want to get out of here. And I know that's not the way to think. So I'm wrestling with myself like crazy, and this mind going, I won't think like that. I will not let that control my feelings. Breathe. Come on, do this breathing. I know you don't want to do it. Do it. Get out there. Exercise. So doing all of that, returning my mind constantly away from the drama to the truth of what am I learning from this? I'm learning I fucked up, to put it bluntly. You know, my naivety, my desire to really trust humanity and think maybe other people think like me. They don't. So I came through it, and I'm looking on when I calm myself down more with meditation and things, and looking at that and asking the intuition, okay, where's my vulnerability here? And what do I need to learn? And I heard, you need to learn forgiveness. And I went, oh God, but part of me wants to kill these bastards. And I went, actually, no, I don't, not really. I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. I really don't. That's what I want to believe in. You know, so can I forgive them? Yeah, of course I can. Yeah. So I let go. What happened when I let go? I felt better in myself, about myself. What about trust? Okay, so I'm in the marketplace, and clearly we're all right now in a spiritual consciousness test of what is real and what is not real. And I remember a saying in scripture that says, you'll be in a time when the wisest of wise will stand side by side and not know who is the truth teller. Mm. Right? So we're in that time. And when you look at that in terms of the beauty of that test, the beauty is, oh my God, my awareness is being sharpened through this experience to be centered and to be more deeply aware of this one consciousness that actually does let me know the reality of what's going on, where a part of me, out of habit and conditioning, keeps buying into the drama, the story. Because I know as an actor, it's actually all a fairy tale. It's all a story.
Yeah.
I hope that's helpful. Did I answer the question?
Absolutely, John. I mean, the point is, it doesn't matter how far you already gone on your spiritual path, but something can always hit you and trigger you. The point is just to go back to your practice, because there are always obstacles on the way. So even when you're on a spiritual path for a long time, it's not a flat, non-curvy highway. It's always, you never know what's coming behind the next curve.
Yeah. But like I said, just to finish on then, the strength that I find in myself now is from the teachings that I really learned mostly from Paul about the mystery school of life, and you are the lesson and you are the answer at the same time. You're a co-creator with the universe. So at some level, consciously or unconsciously, you created this. You contributed to this. So there has to be gold within the darkness. So even the darkness shines when you're looking for the light in it, you know. So I'm seeing the light, you know. I mean, I actually, by a miracle, this is just an amazing story, I got all of my money back. And I can honestly say, with the absolute truth of my heart of hearts, that came back to me because I passed the lesson.
Mm. Nice.
I passed the lesson.
Yeah.
And through the other side of that ego emotional test of the falseness that my ego devalued me over in terms of money. You know, oh my God, what am I going to do now? I haven't got any money. And I realized that, hey, what God is saying to me is, as it says in the Bible, if you want to know God, you've got to want to know God or truth more than anything else. And I realized how conditioned part of me was idolizing money from my emotional sense of security.
Yeah.
So I worked on that and I let go of it. So I actually got to a point where actually I'm going, hey, do you know what? I haven't got any money. I haven't got anything. This is quite interesting. I'm actually at the point where my indigenous colleagues that I've spent time with have nothing, and they're showing me how free they feel. And I'm actually in that experience. I've created it having nothing. Actually, I feel really good. And then when I got my money back, typical ego stuff, the mind came in and said, oh, what am I going to do with it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, we're a divine paradox.
Absolutely. But I can actually confirm this, John, because I remember, you know, the last 2 months between the disappearing of the money and the coming back, the last days was one of the best messages you told me. I was so happy for you, by the way. But we had many phone calls, and I remember that you had never been complaining, or I never had the feeling that you feel like a victim. Of course, you had a shock face in the beginning, but that's normal. But most people would struggle much more. But you have to be more calm and confident, and yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't feel it. I have to tell you that, but I appreciate you saying that, because I think that quality that I've learned to create within myself, in knowing how it works and how to manage it, even in the toughest of times, the energy that you're referring to, that you felt, sense coming from me, is the truth of my experiential connection with my source.
Yeah. Yeah.
And regardless of what this surface mind body wants to do, that is my ability. That knowing, that inner knowing.
Yeah. Well, I can relate to this a little bit, because, John, you know, I always built up businesses or something, and then I destroyed it, or I just had watching other people destroy my business, and a lot of people stole money from myself and stuff like that, business partner and all shit. And I never ask myself, why me? You know, normal people say, oh, poor me, why me? I always look at it again, what kind of lesson is this? What I have to learn? What's going on? Yeah, what I have to learn. And yeah. Finally, I found a way out of this trap, but it's always lessons in life, and sometimes it's a hard one. It's a hitting one.
Yeah, it's not easy. You know, someone never promised you a rose garden. No. But that's the other thing that Paul used to say is, look, why is it tough? It's tough. So you're never given more than you can handle.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
And it's tough because that's the most important lesson you need in your life in that moment to become a true warrior and a true co-creator with genius and a master of your own mind, heart, spirit, and body in the marketplace.
Yeah.
You know, and the masters that I spent with or read about, they're called the masters in the marketplace. Yeah. You know, when you look at that, what does that truly mean? It means they are so inwardly connected. They know it doesn't matter what this stage drama presents to you, it really can't affect your soul, because that is indestructible. It's life itself. It's never going to go away. Nothing can destroy it, even when the body surrenders.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I remember when I lost stuff, or somebody stole something, a lot of money from me, or a car, or whatever, yeah. And because it just came to my mind, because when you mentioned a few minutes ago, you know, you feel comfortable. I have no money. It's okay. It's not good, but it's okay. And then the money came back by a miracle, and the ego came back. And I was thinking about it the same moment. I said, "Oh shit! You know what? When it happened to me, that somebody made a fraud to me, with myself, talking to myself and to the universe. And I wanted to make a deal, take something else. And I was thinking about what? I don't want to give away my health. No. My well-being. No. No. My relationships. No. Okay, fuck, keep the money.
It's the truth. It's the saying, let go and let God.
Yeah.
Or let go, let good.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been revisiting yet again in my life. When you let go, then the energy comes back to metaphorical story, a virgin place.
Yeah.
Come back to pure energy within yourself.
Yeah.
No mental dramas, emotional dramas, physical stress. You come back to this virgin place, and from that place, insight, intuition, new awareness, new potential is born.
Yeah.
And that's called, in the Christian story, that's the whole analogy of the virgin birth, the Christos being born into a physical body. And that was all that actually Jesus, the personality, or any saint, ever taught and said, hey, you can do everything I've done and even more.
Yeah.
All you have to do is know how to drive and be in the driving seat.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, also one question is when everything is away, all the material stuff is gone for any reason, even all the relationships are gone. What is left? What is me? What is left? And a joke came to my mind, John. I heard it years ago. A young man was waking up in a hospital and said, "What the fuck is going on? Where am I?" And the doctor said, "Hey, you had a bad accident." I said, "Oh my gosh, I crashed my Porsche." And the doctor said, "Hey man, keep cool. You're still alive, but we had to cut away your left arm." I said, "What? My Rolex is gone too."
Yeah. Well, it's the same as me just going through that money thing. It's like, it was a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. It was a fucking lot of money.
Or said in the correct way, it was a lot of false attachment
Yeah.
to false security.
Yeah.
What it was for me, and that's what I had to go through, and to let go of that. And now it's all come back. My life has come back. This is what's more important than the money, right? The money's back, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
But what have I learned? My life's come back. My energy's come back. I'm at another level of inner strength and self-trust of a greater intelligence at work in me, as long as I take responsibility for keeping this instrument in tune with it by proper breathing, proper diet, proper exercise, and all the things we instinctively know are essential to do to be happy in ourselves and in our life. And we instinctively know when we're too lazy to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's absolutely the point when you said, you filled yourself alive. I mean, the point is, life just kicked you out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And as long as we stay in the comfort zone, we get lazy. It's convenient, it's cozy, it's lazy. We're not alive. Yeah. Absolutely. Hi, John. I know that you're not only an amazing entertainer, you're also an amazing coach. So for our audience, in the description, I will also write down a link to your website and your contact details. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you want to benefit and learn from John's long time experience, the ups and downs, the roller coaster of an amazing life, don't hesitate to contact John. John, by the way, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time and energy. Thanks for sharing this. Also learn much, and thanks, foremost of all, thanks for your friendship.
Oh, hey, listen. First and foremost, thank you for being there for me during that recent trial and tribulation.
It was an honor.
Say, you amongst a couple of other friends that were really there for me, and I learned some people that I thought were friends weren't there for me.
Yeah.
So you learn so many things about values. True, that's all it's about. At the end of the day, it's about values. Friendship is being tested. Well, what's the test? Money.
Yeah.
Oh, what does that mean? My values are more wrapped up in this than it is my recognition of our friendship and our trust and our love and our support of one another.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you so much, John. Thank you so much.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, my dear friend. Om Shanti. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed it like myself, to listen to John, to learn from him, from an amazing life experience, all this journey, had this roller coaster he went through in his personal life and his business career. And actually the last minutes, because I almost had daily calls with him, what happened to him in the last 2 months. And this can happen to everyone. And the learning is trust the universe. There's always hope outside in this world. Yeah, thanks a lot for listening and joining us. And please don't forget to subscribe. This helps this channel. Sorry for that. English is not my native language. This helps this channel, and also press the belly, the clock, and you get an information as soon as we have a new episode online. Thanks a lot, and see you soon in the next episode. Stay healthy. Bye.